Welcome to the InjuredGadgets.com iPhone 6s Plus home button removal and reinstallation guide. First thing you want to do is go ahead and power off your phone before you do any work on it. So we go ahead and did that, and once that is done, you're going to go ahead and grab your pentalobe screwdriver. We carry this at InjuredGadgets.com, and remove the two screws on the bottom of your iPhone 6s Plus. Alright, next using our Disassembly tool, we are going to get the crease right around the headphone jack. That's where we recommend starting, and separate the screen assembly from the frame. Please note the iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus both have adhesive around all the corners and sides of the phone, so you will need to go around this slowly or heat up the front assembly so that it loosens up the adhesive. Do be careful doing this, especially if your screen is not cracked, because if you are too rough, you can crack your brand new screen or your current screen. Alright, once that adhesive is all removed, the first thing you want to do before you ever start a repair on any iPhone, or really any phone if possible, is disconnect the battery. So there's two Phillips head screwdrivers covering up the battery connection. We're going to use our 00 Phillips screwdriver. Once again, all these tools are available on our website, InjuredGadgets.com. And we are going to remove the two screws covering up this little shield right here. Under the shield is the actual connector for the iPhone 6s Plus battery. So once this shield is removed, you can use a Nylon Spudger, a pry tool, or your fingernails, of course, and disconnect the battery. Alright, with the battery connected now, I feel comfortable enough to go ahead and do the removal of the actual screen from the phone. As you can see, there is this little plate covering up the screen assembly cables. You're going to remove the 5 Phillips head screwdrivers. Make sure you keep these screws in order, because if you do not, it can damage the board later. All 5 of these screws are differently sized. You do not want to mix them up. So we're going to go ahead and remove these 5 screws covering this little plate right here. Alright, go ahead and remove that plate, and now you can disconnect the 3 flex cables as shown here. Once again, we like to use either a nylon spudger, plastic spudger, or your fingernail here. I don't recommend using metal on any parts of the actual logic board. You never know, there could be some electrostatic shock and it could fry your board. Very rare, but it is possible. So you'll want to go ahead and disconnect these cables right here, and now your screen should be able to separate. Alright, now with the screen assembly removed from the actual frame and housing of the phone, we're going to work on just the screen assembly. First thing you want to do is go ahead and remove the home button on the very bottom. Once again, this uses your Phillips 00 screwdriver, and you will remove the 2 screws as shown right here. They hold a little plate in. Once that plate comes off, you can slowly disconnect the home button flex cable from the logic board home button flex, and you'll see us do that here. Alright, so we wanted to obviously be careful. This is our first time ever doing this. Like I said, we're doing this repair with you guys essentially. One thing we noticed, and this is the same with the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, is that the home button flex cable was connected with a little bit of adhesive under it. So we use our Disassembly tool to kind of lift the flex cable, and then obviously we can push it out from the front. You don't want to like pull it immediately, because the little plastic gasket around the home button itself is kind of stuck with adhesive as well. So we took our time here. You want to go at it carefully to pop that home button out. Alright, to go ahead and reinstall your brand new home button, go ahead and just place it back into the little divot or circle that it was already in. Make sure that the gasket around it is not covering up any part of the metal. So once that is the way it's supposed to be, go ahead and place it properly square. Make sure that the little circular holes line up with the actual brackets on the phone, and plug in your flex cable. You should hear a click, or you should feel it actually click in there. Lastly, go ahead and take that bracket that covers up the home button, line it up once again properly, and screw in the 2 screws on either side of the little bracket. Alright, at this point we're going to go ahead and prepare to reinstall the screen assembly onto the actual phone's housing once again. I like to start with the cable on the right side, plug that one in. It just seemed like it was the cable on the top and it would go in first, so we went ahead and plugged that in. Sometimes you might have to tinker around with trying to properly align it. You don't want to jam it or push too hard. You could end up breaking the actual pins on the logic board or the pins on the flex cable itself. So take your time here. If you're not feeling an easy click, don't try and jam it down. Next, you want to do this long flex cable. Make sure this goes in one snap. You don't want it to go in from like left to right or anything like that. It's just one easy snap, followed by that cable right there. Once these cables are in, go ahead and get that little shield. Make sure these cables are all tightly pushed down. But once they are, make sure to go ahead and get that shield and go ahead and screw in the 5 little 00 Phillips screws on top of it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and reconnect our battery and the shield that goes over the battery and those 2 screws. So go ahead and plug your battery in. Make sure, once again, that's an easy click. You don't want to push too hard and break the actual pins on the battery where it clicks in. If it pops out, go ahead and plug it back in. Make sure it's an easy click though. I cannot stress that enough. Once that's there, go ahead and put the bracket on top and screw the 2 little screws back in. At this point, everything is connected. Go ahead and lay your screen down. Make sure you slide it in from the top. There's little grooves on the top. Make sure you slide it in from there. What you're seeing right here is just the little leftover adhesive that we had from the phone when we removed the top of it. And like I said, there was actually adhesive all along the sides. For the first time ever, we've seen an iPhone with adhesive all around the edges. So yeah, make sure you slide it from the top because there's grooves that go into the top. And then slowly go along each side. Line them up. Don't go along one side completely and then the other. I like to line each side up. And then take your 2 pentalobe screws. Go ahead and screw those in and power up your phone. It's a good idea to test everything out, make sure it's all working. And you'll see us just make sure that the touchscreen is working, the home button works, and everything was perfect. Remember, we carry all these parts and tools at injuredgadgets.com. Make sure to comment below, like us on Facebook, and follow us on YouTube.